I'm Brady Jolly. This is the Meet the Team podcast with my friend Alan Nagel. Been with the company for a pretty long time here now, and we're just going to get to know Alan and all about his job. So thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. So, dude, you've had a lot of jobs at Jolly.
I have, yeah. I've kind of bounced around.
Tell us about how long you've been here, what you do now for us, and all that stuff.
So I've been here probably about 3.5 years, give or take. And then my title, basically, because I've been everywhere, it's been more of like a jack of all things. So, I started out as a plumber. Came here 1 year after my apprenticeship at my previous company. And then I was here, I think it was probably like 4 months before I launched on my own here. And then I was plumbing for probably about 2 of those years. And then I switched to working in the warehouse, became the parts runner, delivering all the parts to all of our techs, which has been a really great help for a lot of them. And then now I'm doing that as well as IT. So, and that's been a lot of fun.
And you make a lot of our
Yeah.
odds and ends and goofy stuff for marketing, right?
Yeah, so I'm
Example
usually
A.
yeah.
Tell us about your staff, man.
So this staff, I was asked by Molly, our HR person, to make a trophy, kind of like we do for our golf tournament, but this was for a American pageant that we were doing at our 4th of July, and I made it. I made it look really cool, a lot cooler than what they wanted me to do, and I was like, I'm gonna win that, and I did. So,
Tell us about that. What you do for the America pageant?
So, me being me, I like to joke and I like to make everybody laugh, and that's also a part of like what I bring to Jolly, like being jolly and making everyone laugh.
Be the name, yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of Deadpool. I made a Deadpool mask, but it was like a jolly blue. And, first walk through, I had the mask on, just doing silly stuff. And I had Molly take my mask off, and I had Russell's face taped to my head. And that was like the big reveal.
So, dude, I was a judge, and everybody else had all this America gear on, and I'm like, all right, Alan's like must have just found that mask in his like car and must have forgot America gear. I don't even know what's going on. So you went down the whole thing, revealed the Russell, and still no America, but somehow you still won the pageant with no America gear. It's impressive.
So my shorts said Team USA, and they were like, were like Looney Tunes special, like something they would have worn in Space Jam. And then my shirt just said American Pickleball Champion. I've never played pickleball in my life. So, I just thought the Russell thing would be the funniest thing.
High effort and creativity got you the W. That's nice. So you end up winning your staff.
Yep.
Sweet.
So
Can
now
you put like something from every department in there or something?
Yeah, so it's all CPVC for the actual staff part. There's sand inside that they use in excavation to weight it down. The nest up there for the eagle, that is made out of the wire that HVAC uses. So it's just a little bit of everybody.
You're funny, man. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's get to like personal life. Tell us about, what you like to do for fun, your family, kids, all that sort of stuff.
So, my wife and I have been married for 10 years now. That just happened pretty recently.
Cool. Happy anniversary. Congrats,
thank you.
Man. That's cool.
Been together 13, married 10. You know how that works. We have 3 kids, Jackson, Josie, and Jensen. 12, 10, and 7. Yeah, that sounds about right. And so, they love Jolly. They like all the poo emojis. They just like throwing them at each other like every other kid does. And so what's funny is like one day when I had Josie here, I had my one-on-one with Jeff, and I was like, how old do they have to be to, like, because we can use some more help in the warehouse, just moving stuff around. And he was like 15. I was like, well, there you go, Josie. Like, you got 5 years. She was like, I'm not working here.
She didn't want any part of it.
Yeah, because my wife told him when I was in plumbing service that I just worked in a poo factory all day, and that's why I would come home smelling like that.
She didn't like that.
No, she didn't like that at all. Typical girl.
All right, what else? What do you do for fun on the weekends?
Typically, it's just Me and the fam just play a lot of video games.
What's the favorite right now?
All the kids play Roblox. My wife and I have kind of gotten out of that. We just do a lot of duos on Fortnite, which is kind of lame for being how old we are. But it's typically like we'll just find whatever game that we can and try to get the kids involved. I play a lot of retro games, like back when we were all growing up, like
Sweet.
Game Boy and then N64 and stuff. But yeah.
Cool. All right. So why did you get in the trades, and like tell us the story about how that all went down?
Oh yeah. So actually, I got in the trades around COVID time. I was in the restaurant business before that, and I just had issues there. So after that, I tried working at FedEx in warehouses and Amazon like that. I worked at T-Mobile trying to sell cell phones, and that just was boring. And then I was like, well, you know what? It's my grandpa used to work in construction, so he would always push me into. He was like, go to Gateway, learn what you can for a trade, and I was like, no, like that's stupid. I mean, I was like 21. I should have listened.
Yeah.
And so eventually I did, and I found plumbing. I wanted to do electric or HVAC. I thought that would have been easier than plumbing. Turns out I was wrong. Like plumbing just made sense to me once I actually got in the field. Yeah, I mean ever since then, like when I was just doing plumbing, it just felt more like a puzzle piece. Like once you go in there and take something out, and putting it back, it made me feel really good inside, like just making it work again, essentially.
So I think, like we're around the same age. Like growing up, there wasn't a big push for the trades. Like you go to these career fairs and stuff, middle school, high school, there'd be like nobody there representing the trades. It was all about college, right? And having like a office job or whatever. I think a lot of the people in our industry now it's like their second choice of a career. I've never met a kid that said they wanted to be a plumber when they grow up, right? I do think that's changing. I think that there's some momentum there, but like, what would you say to a younger person who might be considering the trades or even considering college? What would you say about why you like the trades?
I mean, at least for college-wise, like just find a trade to go in, even though I didn't listen to my grandpa. But finding a trade it just seems you have more of an easier way to find a job, basically. I don't know the words I'm trying to pull from that, but it was more of there's always plumbing companies. Like if you're just doing, you're a lawyer, like you have to find a firm, you have to like build your way up. Plumbers, you can, we're all the same. Like, yeah, some people know different things, but we all have each other's back, like in the field. So.
And I think you're a really good example of like, I think so many people like come here as a plumber, they think they're going to be a plumber their whole life, but plumbing companies are organizations just like anywhere else, and there's all kinds of jobs, know. So talk about that transition and how your plumbing knowledge now helps you in the role that you're in now.
Okay. So basically what really helped me and establish where I was in the warehouse is a lot of the other people that worked back there, they knew the stuff, but they didn't know what it was for. So I've kind of been like teaching them and saying like, hey, like this is what this is for. This is what they're looking for. If something's not missing, well, so like if it's like a shower, like waste and overflow that comes in a box, like all the stuff. Sometimes, plumbers get on those trucks. They're like, hey, I just need this little piece. They take it, and then, it comes back to our shop. Something's missing, goes to another plumber. We don't realize it. Yep. So, I was always like what are the people at the airport that like check the bags?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I always felt like one of those, like just seeing like, okay, everything's in here, we're good, we can keep it before we scrapped it or anything.
Cool.
So.
All right, so you talked about your restaurant experience. Mm-hmm. You're one of a few people here who used to work at Chipotle, right? Yep. I know some other stuff, and we have a lot of Chipotle obsessed people here too. But talk about, I think restaurant industry folks translate really well to service professionals for us. Talk about what that experience taught you and how it resonated with our job.
Mainly like customer service. Going in, so like working at Chipotle, that's a whole different wild animal than, fine dining or like working at McDonald's. Sure. So just being on the line at Chipotle or in any kind of like, you are like the front person for that experience. You are the greeter. You say, hey, like, how are you doing today? What can I get started for you? You got to be polite, because if you are on the negative side, they feel that. Or if they're coming in negative, you have to be positive and still make that experience great. Because we've all heard the horrible restaurant stories. And then it just carries from like one person to the next. So like, even if it's fine dining, the greeter, or the person that sits you at the table, they sit you, you have to be nice to say, hey, your waitress or waiter is coming. And from there, that's like a handoff, kind of like what we do if we have a plumber there or a drain tech there that brings a sewer leak. Like, it's just one handoff to the next. So everyone has to have that same attitude. And if they don't, then someone's going to have a bad day. And if the customer comes in bad, you got to try to make their day better. So ultimate customer service, sorry. Because in here, like, we're going into somebody's house.
Yeah.
They're inviting us in there, and if we come in just like completely, dirt all over our pants, not clean hands, we have a tablet, we have papers, if they're like messed up, unorganized, that gives us a bad look. And if we go in their house and, we don't want to stereotype like houses going in and stuff, but I think a lot of plumbers, at least our plumbers, can like feel the energy essentially off of people.
Yeah.
So where like you can go in someone's house and you can know the situation you're going to walk into just by going there. So you can either like keep with their mantra and then not like help them in what they need, or you can put on your cape and be a superhero for them, and make their day better, make their life for the rest of the day or week or whatever, like, make it great.
Yeah, it's the ability to read people and like read the moods, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you were at Chipotle, you saw hundreds of people every day.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times in our business, like, we might go to 4 or 5 calls a day. For that customer, it's their only interaction that they're going to have with a plumber that day. For the plumber, it's the 4th or 5th customer interaction.
Right.
So it's like forgetting about whatever happened in your day if you're having a horrible day, and just putting a smile on, being jolly, and trying to take care of customers' problems. Yeah. I think you've always done a good job of that. The other part in your role now, I think, like, the process, like, your job's so process oriented. Warehouse, you guys have processes for everything.
Yep.
Go into a place like Chipotle or these service restaurants, like, they have process after process. And I think that's something that's what I like about restaurant people, customer service and process oriented. Mm-hmm. That's good. So let's rewind back to when you were in the field as a plumber, which you were for a couple years for us, like you said. Tell us, like, any crazy stories, any crazy customer interactions or anything that happened to you?
Probably not like crazy situations, at least not that I could probably talk about. But the part I miss truly is going into people's homes and seeing all of their cool nerd stuff. Like, I'm a big nerd, so like just being able to go in there and seeing like a poster of Batman, or like there was one time, it was actually at my previous company, but I was still new, just focused on my the guy I was with, seeing what he was doing, how he was interacting. We walked in this closet, long closet, and we got to the end. It was a sump pump, trying to figure out what's going on, battery backup, all that. And then I'm just like sitting there waiting, just like watching him work. And I noticed, like, right in front of me, it's like a 4-tier, 5-tier shelf, wire shelf of just like comic book boxes. And it said like 1979 DC. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, and the customer was there, I was like, okay, so like you collect comics. And then we started talking. And he's like, yeah, they're all comics. And I looked down the hallway, and it's like, 4 of those shelves essentially. And I was like, oh my God. And so then, like, from that moment, like, me and that customer were just talking, and I was supposed to be learning how to do a sump pump, but me and that customer were just building a repertoire and talking about Batman and Superman and all that.
Yeah. So. And back when you were in a truck, you would get like customer requests for you all the time because you were able to make that connection, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So as far as the trades, like, we're in nasty positions, or nasty spots, whether it's attics, crawl spaces, whatever. So if you're in a crawl space, what's your least favorite critter to run into?
So I've run into a few critters out there. Nothing. I mean, spider webs are annoying, but I don't mind it. I never was bit or anything. I found a couple snakes, which was fine. The one thing I did have fun with was I went into, it was like one of these old houses in Ohio that turned into like a law firm, and I went to the third floor. Like the GM was showing me around, and we went up to the third floor. It was like the attic part, and one guy was on vacation. The other guy was working up there, and this was like a JCR lead, so there was a leak, and they were like already trying to dry it up. But it started from that bathroom, and it was like the toilet drain line was just like completely broken, and it was just dripping into like their printer room that was down below it. So we go up to the closet, or like this hallway in this attic, and I open the door. She's right behind me. I open the door, and there's a bat flying like back and forth, and she was like, "Oh my God, a bat!" And she shuts the door, and I'm like, "Okay." And then that guy, because he heard me say a bat, and he shuts the door. I was like, "Okay, like, can somebody like give me something?" And so I caught, like, they gave me one of those like paper boxes, and I just like catch it like a ball, and then we take it outside, and it was just like
you got it. You caught it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I mean, I've gone to people's houses and like working inside, and then come to their porch, and they have like a 2-foot long snake.
Oh.
And it was just just crawling on the porch. It's like, hey, like, just so you know, if you have a dog, there's a snake out here. And they're like, oh my God, I hate snakes. So then, growing up in the 90s and 2000s, big crocodile hunter fan. And so I was like, okay, like, I kind of know what to do. Hopefully I don't get bit. So I just do that thing with the stick, and then grab the tail, and like get it away from the house. Because like, I think that situation, I saw it go on the like on the porch, and then they had one of those chairs with like a cushion on it, so it went right underneath the cushion.
So if they would have sat there, they'd be toast.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite part about working at Jolly?
Honestly, it's the people. I mean, everywhere I go, like I find people that I just feel like it's just, I'm gonna say attracted, but it's not like anything like that. But it's just like I feel connected and like grounded to everybody. This is the only company that I have felt that with everybody. I truly love everybody that works here, and it's just a great family with everything that goes on with my family. You guys have been very supportive and understanding with everything that goes on, and it's just one of the best things.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
So we recently redid our mission, vision, and values.
Yep.
What value sticks out to you that resonates the most with you?
Truly, it's I think we've already said it, but it's be the name. So I always like am wearing a Jolly hat, or one of the old Jolly t-shirts when I go out, especially if I'm going to like the school thing. So I'm just always like promoting and stuff. I think in the winter I wear one of the sweatshirts because it's just really comfy. So I'm just always like representing. And on top of that, my mom, shout out to Diana. She is probably the number one person that shares all of our stuff on Facebook.
I know. I see her on there.
Yeah. So she works at a doctor's office, and so whenever one of her patients come in, there's like a picture. I think it was like the calendar shoot where I was like the clickbait for the YouTube video. Yeah. So she like printed that picture out, and then it's on her desk. And so people are like, "What is that?" And so she's nice. Like, "Oh, that's my baby," and all this stuff. So this recent dog shoot, I brought my dog in, and she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to show my grand dog off to everybody."
That's awesome. So you've been a part of a bunch of our commercials. Which one's your favorite?
I would say the calendar shoot was pretty fun.
Tell us about that one.
So you guys tried to prank us and say we had a Russian photographer that was really, really good. If you haven't seen the video, you guys should go watch the video. But it was, this lady told us to do a bunch of goofy things. What
was her name? Olga?
Yeah, I think so.
Olga.
Yeah. And then like you couldn't really see you and Ryan in the background, but like in a certain like light, like I saw you guys snickering, and I knew the gig was up. And so I just like kept going with it and just seeing like how far I could take that lady.
That was hilarious.
So
That was hilarious.
yeah.
Any other stories or anything that come to mind?
So like one of my favorite things to go into houses is not favorite, but it was always like more of a, I guess I felt connected to these people as well because my dad passed away in 2012. So when I go into somebody's houses and they're dealing with, a death in the family, or they're just still feeling sad or whatever, then, I'm a crier. So if I see them cry, then I'm crying with them, and I just want to hug it out, which sappy and all that stuff. But like that kind of stuff gets me. So there's been a couple, like this lady had just lost her dog. And I was just doing a drain clean, and she just started telling me like she had just had to put her down like a week prior before me going there, and so she would start talking about it. I'm trying to like clean the trap out and get my machine down, and then I hear her crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I start crying.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a dog too, and but then all my favorite ones, because it always. I keep saying favorite. I don't mean favorite. But these situations to where you go into someone's house and they're like, it'll be like a widow, and she says her husband had just passed away, and this is where he usually stayed. Like this is his office. There was one house in particular. I was like working on an expansion tank, and I believe it was like a main shutoff. And she was like, "This is my husband's workspace. He had a heart attack, it was almost a year to the day to where I was." And she was like, this is his workspace and all that. So like I'm working in there, and I just like, I could feel the energy. Like, you hear people like say like, ghosts aren't real and stuff, like, but you can feel the energy in some houses. And I was just in his space, doing work, not trying to like touch things, but I did have to move like a big like LED Bud Light sign down. And I just felt like that cold shiver. And I was like, look, I'm just here doing some work, just trying to help your wife out. Don't bother me.
Wow. You said that out loud?
Yeah.
Was she around? Did
She was not. She was upstairs. But I told her, I was like, I felt your husband down there. Not trying to sound crazy or weird or anything. I just, I felt him down there in that space. And, I said,
That's crazy.
I'm not here to do anything bad. So.
It was all good.
It was all good.
That's awesome.
So.
That's cool. Well, man, you are like culture builder here. Be the name is what comes to mind for me too. When I think about you, like you're always willing to do whatever it takes. You've been in several different roles. Just can't thank you enough for, everything you've done for us over the years, and really looking forward to working with you for a long time, man. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate you being on.